Hello and welcome to Late Night BrokeN Boys. It is episode 199.
Woo!
I'm Colin,
And I'm Mike.
and as you can tell, Mike is a little under the weather,
Yeah.
which is precisely why we are over Discord this week. But that's okay. Mike's gotta keep himself healthy. Gotta keep my family healthy and myself, of course. So.
Yeah, I could be completely making this up, but didn't like last year or the year before I got sick like in the weeks before Christmas, and then I had you sick for Christmas or something like that.
Maybe. I
I
don't
th-
know.
I feel like that's something that if it wasn't you, I did that to someone else, and because I remember feeling awful about that. I'm just like, I don't want to do that again.
I don't remember being sick around Christmas, so might have
Yeah,
been somebody else, but
yeah, maybe.
I might also just have been so sick that I don't remember it anymore. So
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
no,
Um, But yeah, if you see, I guess for you and the viewer, if you see me muting, the visual little microphone with a slash through it, just know that I am potentially dying on the other end, and
oh
I may not unmute, so we'll see.
well, I'll have to take us into the 200th episode era. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mike's
long.
dead for the 200 episode era.
We'll be back though. Don't worry, it's
Yeah,
okay.
you'll
Nobody,
keep it running.
nobody actually dies in the BrokeN Boys cinematic universe.
That's true. That's so true.
But yeah, this week we're going to be going over our 2024 top music lists, whether it be our songs or our albums.
Yeah.
Um, I've got 15 songs and 15 albums.
Oh,
Mike said quite a few more, so
okay. Well, yeah,
we'll
we
see.
talked about 10 albums last week, so I'm pleased to hear it's 15.
It's just they're not my top 15 prior to the top 10 are not like huge on my list, but I just wanted to talk about a couple
That's good.
before my top teners.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, how was your week, Mike?
Week was fine despite, the voice and all.
Hmm?
Um I well, last week I was in Wisconsin, and then we did all the Christmas stuff the day after. So we rented out a whole place for my dad's side of the family. All the all of his siblings, all the cousins, all the grandchildren, all the great grandchildren, and some. Oh no, not yet. I thought there was great grandchildren in the picture too, but it's just great grandchildren right now. But you know, got to have a nice meal. We kind of do like a potluck type thing where everyone brings something. The families bring something, so it's just a long line of food. And someone someone this year brought a shrimp ring, and I was like, oh yeah. You know me, you know me. And that it wasn't just any old shrimp ring too. It was like a Costco shrimp ring, and like
Oh,
they were big shrimp, and they were like good shrimp. Um, I had quite a bit of those, and I'm a little concerned what happened to the other half of that container that didn't get eaten during that time. If that all went to waste, that'd be pretty sad.
that
Um,
is.
a true travesty. Um, it was my uncle Joe who brought that. He's probably the one that I know the most of the aunts and uncles. I saw him bring that in, and he's like, "Yeah, just caught this at Costco earlier today."
Oh yeah,
It's great.
true.
But yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, that was good. Got to sit. We ate with my grandma, which is always cool because she's kind of the connecting person for over 100 people there. So she chose us. But well, also, her and my dad kind of sat at a table too because he had a scooter with him because he's still
Uh,
immobilized a little bit. So we were at the disabled table really, but no, but it was good though. And yeah, after that we went. My brother and my mom and I went to the state capitol building in Madison, Wisconsin, because they were doing a little tuba Christmas concert there.
Huh?
We didn't really know what it was. It was just like a free tuba concert in the Capitol. We're like, okay, let's go check it out. And it was cool. Like, the Capitol has like a giant, a round room in the middle of it, like I'm sure most Capitol buildings do. And they just had 250 tuba players in there playing Christmas songs. Um, it was pretty great, honestly. It was pretty cool. Um, we also got to meet my brother's new girlfriend there too, for the
Uh,
first time. So she's very nice. Got to, you know, meet her. I only knew of her as of like last week, but
uh,
they seem good though. But yeah, and then we were gonna. I talked last week that we have like this cousins party that we're trying to do annually now, with the family up there. But we ended up skipping out on that because it would have
oh,
been a 40-minute drive for us, and the weather was like perfectly in that 33, 32 degree range.
right.
And it was raining, so like it was sleet and like kind of bad conditions. And I don't remember if I mentioned, but it'd be like a 40-minute drive in those conditions. It just didn't really seem like the vibe.
Yeah.
So we just decided to skip that, and we stayed back with just our immediate family, so mom and dad and brother, and
Mm.
watched Elf and Frosty the Snowman. I'd never seen Frosty the Snowman, but it was it was okay. Um, um, but yeah, I did that, and then the morning after that, we went out for breakfast with his girlfriend again. That was good. I like. I think I've mentioned before on here, but Vince has gotten me into eggs Benedict whenever I go
Right.
to breakfast places, and they have a good eggs Benedict there with like crab cakes. Ooh,
Ooh.
it's some good shit. But yeah. Um, yeah, I came back for that on Sunday. Started getting sick around Monday. Started feeling it around Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday just kind of progressively started getting more and more. And I texted you. I was like, "Hey, man," you know. Um, but the timing is okay though, for me personally, because it'll probably be gone by Christmas. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
It should be. That'd be a pretty long sickness if it stays that long. But my mom's starting to feel some too, which she probably also got up there. To be fair, if
Right.
I got it, she probably did too. um, but yeah. But yeah, in my notes I just put down with the sickness. Ooh, ah,
Wow.
ah, ah. Yeah. Um, are we vampires or are we a screamo band? Who knows? Um,
That's for you to decide, dear viewer.
exactly. Um, but yeah, just since I've been home, been doing some music stuff, been helping out around cleaning up for Christmas and stuff. Um, my dad, I took him to his appointment yesterday, and he's able to put weight on his foot now, so he can kind of walk.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been going up and down the stairs a few times, which is pretty cool. He's like, I haven't been down here in a month. And I was like, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's pretty good. He's healing up well. Yeah, just wrapping presents, doing that kind of stuff, fixing Christmas lights. Um, yeah, and I got some uh, like a big pint of vanilla ice cream in the freezer that's helping out my throat every now and then. So that's the vibe of this week. I didn't really do like too much notable besides that, but how about
Yeah.
you? How's it going?
The week is okay. It's pretty much same old, same old. Hours were cut a little bit because it's um, winter break and we're not as busy, and uh, so had to cut down on hours, watch our labor and stuff. So
Mm.
as well as I'm coming up tomorrow, so I was already taking a couple days off this week anyway, but it's all right. Um, it's been slow, very slow, which
Yeah.
is Good, good and bad. It gets kind of boring, but when we pick up a little bit, it's like, okay, that's nice, that's nice. But then it's like, oh, that's a little too much, and I don't want to do it. But it's the give and take, I guess.
Of course.
But on Sunday, we had a little Christmas party for a little McDonald's Christmas party. And, yeah, and it was went over there. It wasn't like bumping or anything. It was just a bunch of it wasn't even that many coworkers, to be honest. It's just like maybe 10 of them showed up, and like a couple of them brought their families. So it was like it was more kids than anything, but but that was okay. There was some pretty ass food, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, what do you expect from a McDonald's Christmas party?
I mean, I think last year they had like chicken, and this year they had pulled pork.
Oh yeah.
But the pulled pork was like, it didn't have any barbecue sauce in it. It was just straight dry pulled pork.
Awesome.
With some very bland mac and cheese and some pretty okay potato salad. But in the only election that matters, I won an award by vote from my coworkers, my peers, for best crew of 2024 at McDonald's.
Wait, hold on. Oh shit! Wait, where's just the clap? Okay, here we go. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won an award, got a little pin, got my picture taken with
nice.
With my cardstock award.
Picture with Ronald.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But we were going through the awards. A lot of the people that won awards weren't there. I think it was like me and one other person that were actually there for who had won. But one of the people that won, nobody really likes, but she somehow won an award. And my manager that was like announcing the winners and stuff, she said her name, and then the room was silent.
Oh.
And Max was like not gonna clap in the first place because she hates her, but she felt so awkward that she just started going woo, clap a little bit. And then a couple other people started to join in, and then everybody was laughing, including the manager that was announcing the awards.
Oh, that sounds like something straight out of The Office, man.
Honestly, yeah. But she sucks. I don't know how she won an award, but anyway, we got little goodie bags with some candies in them, and a coupon for I think it's either $10 off or 10% off. $10 off of like McDonald's merch.
Not even food, the merch.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll use that, maybe I won't, but we got that, and it was pretty fun. Afterwards, we got back and we just played Fortnite with some of our coworkers that were at the party.
Oh, that's fun.
And, throughout the week, I've just been, working and finishing up my lists, watching some YouTube, and playing more Fortnite as well. There were a couple nights where we were playing Fortnite with coworkers. On Tuesday, it was like a bunch of us all together, and then one of my coworkers, he was reluctant to like download Fortnite because he has because they have like anti-cheat, and he was worried about his computer or something.
Okay.
But he finally ended up doing it, and he was gonna get on with us, and then another one of our coworkers we were playing with was like, "Oh, one of our managers is on," and then she invited her. So we ended up playing Fortnite with our manager, which was very funny.
Okay, I was gonna say that could go either way. I feel like okay, I'm glad it was good.
She's chill. She's
all right. Could chill manager.
But yeah, we got some dubs. I think that night we won like three during the night. So it's
Were you doing the new season or the OG?
Oh, the new seed. I haven't played the OG at all, but
I've dabbled a little both. I do enjoy both of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to try the OG. But Winterfest starts tomorrow, so I got to get my free gifts and stuff. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, also right before the podcast, me and Max went to go see Sonic 3, and
That explains the profile pic.
yes, and it's honestly really good. It was my favorite of the three that
Oh wow.
have come out. Um, John Wick Hedgehog uh, and two Jim Carreys. Like you can't beat that. Really, it was really fun. It was honestly very funny all throughout. A couple cringe moments, but like it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But it was it was very fun. Great music, great atmosphere. There were a couple. We walked in and there were like two middle-aged bald men, not together but like in separate parts of the theater. And I was like, okay, this is about right for Sonic, I guess.
Yeah. That tracks.
But we sat down for a little longer, and like a couple came in, and like a younger dude by himself came to watch as well, and I was like, okay, it's not as sad anymore. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was good, and we were there were a couple of post credit scenes, and I had heard about them, but there was the first one, and then Max started leaving. I was like, hold on, there might be another one, and then one of the one of the older dudes like walked like in the middle of the aisle and was like, "There's another one, don't leave."
That's kind of awesome.
We're like, okay, thank you. But yeah, it was good. Had a good time. Also had Taco Bell before, and Taco Bell has nuggets now, so I tried those. And they're pretty good, honestly.
Like just chicken nuggets. Like they have any sauce or anything?
Yeah, they have like dipping sauce. There's like a hot ranch. There's a jalapeno honey mustard and a taco, like a Bell sauce, which is kind of like a Chick-fil-A sauce a little bit.
Okay.
But it was pretty good. They have a nice little. I think they put like taco seasoning in the batter for the nuggets, so they have a little Mexican quote unquote zip to them. So.
Yes. I think the quote unquote you meant to do for Mexican instead of zip, but yeah.
But yeah, it was a good night. Yeah, a pretty good week. Nothing too crazy. Just been also Marvel Rivals still, but of course,
yes.
But yeah, that's basically it. I only listened to one thing, and it was just starting to get through my Daft Punk listens. So
I actually haven't started that yet.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's the whole point of it, but I guess the whole point was in case it was a big one,
True.
But yeah, I did listen to one thing too. I listened to Tidal by Fiona Apple, which is her first album. It was pretty good. I liked it quite a bit. I didn't like love it as much as I loved When the Pond, but I still think some really good stuff on there, and great voice and great songs.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gotta listen to that When the Pond.
Yeah, I love that album. You definitely should.
Maybe I'll do that on the way home tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, news-wise, it finally happened. Fortnite got Skibbity Riz, Skibbity toilet skin and backbling.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't?
No.
Whatever, they got a Plunger Man skin and a Skibbity toilet backbling. The backbling is honestly terrifying. I really don't know how Valve just does not care, unless they've like struck a deal or if they're getting money out of it.
They must have, because those characters got to be protected under something.
You think, but it's like they're literally just Gmod models, so it's like,
and those models are from Half-Life, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Half-Life and stuff.
So they either like, because the backbling doesn't look exactly like. It doesn't look exactly like a Gmod model, but it's still close enough to where it's like that's a little shady.
I don't know.
But
yeah, because I was wondering about that too. I was like, who do they pay for that? Do they pay the guy who made Skibbity Toilet, or do they pay Valve? Or do they pay anyone? I don't know.
But yeah, Skibbity Toilet is in Fortnite.
About time.
About time. Mariah Carey is coming to Fortnite for Winterfest.
About time.
There's going to be a Santa Shack and a Santa Snoop Dogg skin.
That's kind of fun.
That is kind of fun. But, you know, a couple cool songs were added to festival today. There was Africa by Toto and Fireball by Pitbull.
Yeah.
You know, bangers.
Yeah.
But,
I love the song about shots of Fireball in my Fortnite game.
oh, yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, hey, if Nicki Minaj can say jacking off without any sort
jack off. Yeah.
Without any sort of censorship or anything, then hey, let Pitbull do what he wants. That's Mr. Worldwide.
That is Mr. Worldwide. We need that skin.
Yeah, we did. Honestly, I would get it.
Yeah.
There's also a trailer for Superman, James Gunn's Superman movie.
I just watched that. Yeah.
And it came out today. And I've never been a Superman person, but honestly, I'm excited for that movie. It looks very good, and especially when it's helmed by James Gunn. I'll watch anything James Gunn does, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only thing that like I was kind of iffy on was the bowl cut on the Green Lantern in that movie. It's Guy Gardner is the Green Lantern. Is played by Nathan Fillion, but yeah. But yeah, that bowl cut was like, whoa. And I know it's part of the character, but it was like, oof. But yeah, it looks good. I'll definitely watch that. It played before Sonic, so I was hoping that it would, because seeing that on the big screen was like very nice. But I'm also excited for the fact that NoHo Hank is in that Superman movie.
Oh. I missed like everyone who was in that trailer, I guess.
Yeah, you know, Nicholas Holtz and as Lex Luthor, and
I don't know who that is.
He's been in you know, I don't know what you would have seen that he was in actually.
Yeah.
He's in the new Nosferatu movie that I'm also excited for, but yeah, that was cool. Looks good. Chapel Roan, the Nardwuar Chapel Roan, who came out earlier this week.
Yeah.
And people did not get what they wanted. Well, some people didn't get what they wanted with her being mean to him, because she was a little a little off about some of his questions, but you know, it was just a basic Nardwuar interview, and Chapel seemed to be super down with what he was doing. So
yeah.
Good interview. 21 Pilots played the Jingle Ball last week. They did it like a mini Clancy tour. They played some Clancy stuff, Overcompensate, and I forget what else. Maybe Vignette. I think they played Vignette as well. But you know, I saw when they started getting into their hits like Heathens and Stressed Out and Ride and stuff, that everybody was enjoying it, including Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers.
Okay.
He was in the audience, and as Tyler was walking through the crowd for Ride, on the camera, in the camera, you just see Joe's face pop through on the side of he's just waving through the camera.
That's awesome.
And then they played a couple Christmas songs for Rosie.
I saw that whole clip. That was very cute.
That was very cute, except the fact they didn't play their own Christmas song.
I know, right? That's all the comments were. It's like, brother forgot he had his own Christmas song.
But yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, he changed Jingle Bells to Jingle Balls, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, Travis Scott was at a festival or something this week. You know, scary words.
I know, yeah. Great setup.
He was at a festival this week, and for Fiend, he brought out Owen Wilson.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. There's just a video of Owen Wilson on Yeah, literally. It's just Owen Wilson on stage yelling, "Fane, Fane, Fane!"
What the hell?
It's really funny. But I'm just hoping that nobody got crowd crushed or anything. Because
Cars 5 is gonna go crazy.
oh, they're skipping 4. They're going straight to
I
5.
thought there
Maybe.
was a 4. Maybe yeah. I guess yeah.
Travis Scott car.
That would actually be pretty funny. Uh,
But yeah, that's all. That's all I got. News and music wise, but
nice.
yeah.
I do have a cough drop in right now, if that is being picked up on anyway. But
I can't hear it, but I wish I could.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else over here, so we probably could just jump into the list if we want to.
All right.
Probably a bad time for me to start this cough drop, but or maybe the perfect time. I don't know.
You'll power through it.
Yeah. We usually do album before songs.
I think we do songs and then albums.
Songs and then albums. Okay.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Perfect. So you said you're cool with doing 15 of each.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we got more albums as well. You can honorable mention those as well if you need.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna plan to do. Just kind of do quick honorable mentions. I have so I have 29 in both songs and albums. And not all the songs have an album to go with it, and not all the albums have a song to go with it. So it's kind of there's mismatch in both of them. But yeah, so I will I will do honorable mentions pretty quickly. At least I'll try to. And we'll talk a little bit more about stuff as it goes on, I guess, with a more detail, and I can butt in if you have more stuff or something. Yeah. For my songs list, I just want to say that everything that made this list is a song that I love. So like even stuff towards the bottom, like there's some things that got pretty low that I'm like, damn, that's some good shit. I wish it was higher, but it's just kind of how this list went this year. So there's nothing in here that I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll mention it. Everything here I love. So,
Awesome.
Cool. I guess just to start off, at 29, we have Songs by Half Alive. I really like this track. Nice little singer-songwriter duet with Josh and the female vocalist that I should have written down, but I forgot to. Yeah, it's very pretty, and it's a direction I'd like to see them go in more. At 28, I have An Enemy by Improvement Movement. They're a little band out of Georgia that I found like a month ago or so that have this very Beatlesque sound. I could talk a little bit more about them when it comes to the album, but this is a song I chose for Song of the Week. I think it has some fun rhythmic stuff going on and some fun vocal harmonies throughout it, and just a really nice atmosphere throughout the whole thing, and I really liked it. At 27, I have Pushing It Down and Praying by Lizzie McAlpine. This is a little single that she released after her album this year that it has some pretty raunchy subject matter, but it's dealt with in like a really mature way and like a really just interesting song topic that I think she delves into like with a lot of like grace and nuance. I don't know. It's some of my favorite writing I've heard from her, and I think she handles it pretty well. Yeah, just really enjoyed that one. 26, I have Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan. Shout out Colin. He got me onto this one with Song of the Week earlier this year. It's a fun 80s throwback. I'd say that's 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 80s, kind of 70s-ish. I don't know, maybe. But it's probably my favorite song by her. And I think it has a lot of great potential for future stuff from her. A really catchy hook on it. Really enjoy that one. 25, I have Coelacanth by Glass Beach, the opener from their album. I really love this opener quite a lot. Once again, fun rhythmic stuff going on. I really love the instrumentation and just the amount of phases it goes through. To me, it's one of the like most cohesive songs on the album. Like I feel like everything just perfectly blends into one another and has the genre blending. I think just works perfectly on it. It's a really fun track. At 24, I have Love You Anyway by the Marias. There's a lot of songs on this Marias album that could probably go around here. But this one, I've just always loved the vibe of this one. I think it has a really spacey chorus. And I love how stripped back the verses get and just the, you know, the correlation between the two. You know, the stripped back verses and the spacey verse. I love that dichotomy. I think it just makes for a really great track. At 23, I have Free Treasure by Adrian Lenker, lead singer of Big Thief. This is just a really beautiful folk song. She kind of does like a. Excuse me. Sorry, I was supposed to mute for those. She kind of does like a duet on this one with a vocalist that isn't credited. But it's a very pretty song. Maybe not like the best on the album lyrically, but for some reason melodically and just songwriting wise, this one just always kept getting stuck in my head. It's very warm and homey. I like it a lot. At 22, I have Darlin' by Gene Dawson, song that I did for Song of the Week a couple weeks ago. I really love this song. I wish more of the album was like this. It's like a great R&B pop crossover type thing. I think Gene's voice works very well on it. At 21, I have The Greatest by Billie Eilish. I think this song like just is amazing. It's fantastic. I love it has kind of the same structure as like the song Happier Than Ever, but it's still done in a really great way. I love the big build up and how it pays off into that giant bridge that's just quoted throughout the rest of the album. It's a great song. At 20, I have hold on. Oh man, missing my mute button. At 20, I have Caesar on a TV Screen by The Last Dinner Party. I chose two songs for Song of the Week from this album, and this is not from either of those. But it is a great track that there's a lot of songs on the album that I feel like just so strongly about. This is the one that I ended up choosing. I think it has some fun rhythmic stuff. There's like a part in the second verse where it just is super fun and one of my favorite moments of the year. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick.
Yeah.
I think that's what I need at the moment.
Pause for sip.
Hydration. Okay. Almost there. At 19, I have the song Happy For You by Dua Lipa. This is kind of a surprise one here, but it's kind of one of those songs that just kind of, it spoke to pretty much my exact feelings on some things this year, and had just this really beautiful, bittersweet, but like happy feeling to it that I think is just translated really well, and I think it's done super well, and one of my favorite songs my favorite song on that album. That's why I have it here. It's just a really great chorus on this one. I love it a lot. At 18, I have Satellite Business 2.0 by Sampha featuring Little Sims. A little remix track from a song that was on his album last year, but this time just produced more and written stronger and has a Sims feature on it. It's just really great. Fantastic. Some of my favorite production of the year. At 17, I have Teleharmonic by The Smile. This is one of the songs off their 2 albums this year. And it came from the first album. And it's just a super spacey song. Probably some of my favorite like production I've heard on a Tom York track in a long time. Just super atmospheric, and I love his vocals on it. It's very ghostly and haunting. Really great. And at 16, I have Bored by Leve. Her song Goddess grew on me a lot this year too. But Bored was another single she released with her deluxe this year. And it's just got super fun chords and super fun singing. And I love Leve's voice a lot. I think it's a great track. Cool. I'm all caught up now, so if you want to start with 15, go right ahead.
Yeah. Do you want to alternate between, or do you want me to go straight through?
We can alternate between.
All right. Well, at number 15, I have Two-Faced, which I think it's Two-Faced by Linkin Park. Um, this is kind of a surprise one for me, honestly. After the um, listen through of the Linkin Park discography up until before From Zero dropped, I was not expecting anything from them to make any lists of mine, but this song evoked a lot of the same energy that Meteora and Hybrid Theory had, and those are their two best albums by far. Um, just the energy that is brought um, from Emily Armstrong on the vocals and stuff. Her screaming is great. I like the chorus on this one a lot. I think that her chemistry with Mike Shinoda is also really, really great on this song. Um, as well as like I said, it kind of brings the same energy as those first two records, and brings that kind of new metal sound back, which they missed a lot from most of their records past Meteora. So I was kind of missing that, but this song brought it back, and I was really enjoying it, and I really love it.
Yeah, nice. At 15, I have Resisting Resistance by Maruha. This is the closer to their EP they released this year. One of the things I loved a lot about their EP last year is how it blended the like harshness with like the beauty. With like because they're really great at making beautiful soundscapes with their group. And they didn't really have as much beauty on this EP. It was a lot more harsh and in your face, which was cool, and I do like that. But this track was basically completely instrumental, and really puts those beautiful soundscapes like at the forefront, and it's just a really great track and has me itching for whatever they're going to release under an album, hopefully next year. But yeah, I love the saxophone on here. I love how the whole track builds and decays. It's just got a great structure to it that I love a lot.
Very cool. At number 14, I have Joyride by Kesha. Had this as Song of the Week over this summer when it first dropped, and it's just an earworm. It's super fun. It's hard to describe it other than like electro polka. There's like some really cool accordions and shit on it that just evoke like a Weird Al vibe, but in the best way possible. Kesha is having her comeback after I think she got the rights to her music, Taylor Swift style.
Oh, nice.
Or something like that. So she's making her comeback, and she made it. The first thing she did was make Joyride, and it's just a super, super fun earworm of a song that I've enjoyed since it came out.
Nice. All right, at 14, I've got Knock Yourself Out XD by Porter Robinson. I don't know, there's a lot of Porter tracks that probably could have made this spot, and like maybe something like Cheerleader is a better song, possibly objectively. But for some reason, Knock Yourself Out just has been stuck in my head more than any of them this year, and like I never really got sick of it. Like I just think that the chorus is such a catchy earworm. Yeah, I just really like this one. I think the energy is fun and infectious, not taking itself too seriously. It's very Porter Robinson coded, as a lot of the album is. Yeah, I think it's just a really fun song. Makes me smile, and I like that about it. So,
yeah, makes you XD a little bit.
It makes me XD. Yeah,
love that. And at number 13 for me, I have Automatic by Half Alive. Since this song dropped, I've really, really loved it. They do that kind of the punky style that they did on Conditions of a Punk, but it's done a lot better than most of the stuff on Conditions of a Punk.
Yeah,
I think Josh sounds really good on it. I love the chorus a lot. It's just super punchy and fun, and I've had a lot of good listens to it since it dropped, and it's probably my favorite off of Persona. But yeah, it's just super fun.
yeah, that one was really close to songs for me. They're like neck and neck. Yeah. Yeah. At 13, I have Why Did I Laugh Anyway by Dev Lemons. There was a moment earlier this year where Dev Lemons put out like 3 singles in a row that were like absolutely phenomenal. And I really wish she made like an EP or something with them, because I would love to shout that out. But this single, she made it with Quadeca. It has very stereotypical Quadeca production to it, but like Dev fits over it like beautifully. And it's like the most mature her sound has ever sounded, and it sounds great. It's really fantastic. I love the atmosphere on here. I love how it builds into that chorus, and I think it's just a great track. And I love it a lot.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I really liked that one when he had his song of the week a long while ago. But
Yeah,
at number 12, I have mega hit "Espresso" by Sabrina Carpenter. This is just another great earworm. I think it's her best song that I've heard, at least. It's definitely my favorite off of Short and Sweet, which was not great,
yeah,
in my opinion. But Espresso, fantastic song, just super fun, very
yeah.
catchy. She sounds great on it. It's just super fun, and it was played a lot for me.
Okay, yeah, I agree. That is a great track.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing I have is "Broken Man" by Saint Vincent. It's a track that I had as song of the week on an episode with John because I remember watching the music video in his living room. But yeah, man, I don't know what it is about the song. I love it so much. I love how it builds. There's like some guitar hits that come in this song that always sound just so impactful with headphones on. And it just feels so badass, and it's one of my favorite moments in like music this year, to be honest.
Mhm.
And I think the chorus is super catchy too, and just really infectious energy on here. And yeah, I really love this song. It's my favorite from that album by far.
Very cool. Um, at number 11, before we get into our top 10, I have Good Luck Babe by Chapel Brown.
Yeah.
Um, Another mega pop hit from this year, but for a good, very, very good reason. I got very into Chapel Brown this year, and this was a big helper in that because it is so fun. It's so good. She sounds absolutely fantastic on it, as she does most of her music anyway. Um, it's just got that super nice 80s vibe, maybe 70s, like Mike was saying a little earlier. And she does it super well, and I just love this song. Super great.
Yeah. All right. And then for me at number 11, I have Like Him by Tyler the Creator. Um, it is a little hard for me to pick a favorite song from this Tyler project, but like in kind of the opposite way than it was for Call Me If You Get Lost. For Call Me If You Get Lost, I really felt like there wasn't many highlights on it for me personally. Like I thought all the songs were good, but never really much that stuck out. Like, yeah, I love that track. But for this most recent album, there are so many of them that I kind of love to that degree. But I really do love the structure of Like Him, and I think it's some of the best production on the album, especially when it gets into that instrumental towards the end. It just sounds heavenly, and I love the subject matter on it too. I think it's always great hearing Tyler mature on stuff from his old lyrics and dwell on them with new lights of potentially becoming a father himself too. Like I think it just really is like a the metamorphosis of like the themes on this album, and I think it's done really well, and I love that track.
Yeah,
I
it's
also
fantastic.
I also heard it playing through. My brother lives in a condo, so he
Uh,
has some people living like in the other walls next to him. I heard someone was playing their music kind of loud at like 8 p.m. or something, and
uh,
I recognized. I was like, why does that bass line sound so familiar? And I realized it was Like Him. I heard it like through the walls. I was like, oh my god, that's a Tyler fan over there. Anyways, but
vibing just like him super fucking loud in a condo is very funny.
yeah, it wasn't like super loud, but it was like because we were on the wall right next to him.
You're right.
Yeah, but yeah,
Well, getting into our top 10 here.
yeah,
At number 10, I have For Crying Out Loud by Phineas. It's the title track off of the Phineas record from this year, and it's just been on constant rotation for me. It's just really, really good. I think it's Phineas's best solo song. Um, there are a couple other good tracks off of that record, but this one stood out really, really big for me. I just really love there's some cool horns on there. I think Phineas sounds great. The chorus is super fun. Um, it's yeah, I really like it. I think it's definitely the best from that record this year.
Cool. All right, getting into my top 10, we got Juna by Clairo. There's a lot of like great stuff happening on that Clairo record, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But this song has always just kind of been that bitch for me. Like I love the chords on here, you know, being a big nerd and everything.
Right.
Um, right, yes, thank you. But no, I really love how just the vibe of this song. It feels like the most distinct on the album to me. Like in terms of like, yeah, that feels like a song I haven't heard before, in a good way. Like I love the little synthesizer that comes in, you know, in there.
Yeah.
And her vocals just sound so great on it too, and it's got such a nice structure and production to it. I just love this track a lot. It's so fun.
Yeah, it was a really good one. Well, at number 9, I have Capricorn by Vampire Weekend.
Mm.
Uh, this also could have been a lot of different tracks off of that record. I think the closer Hope is really great. Ice Cream Piano is really fun as well. But I don't know, Capricorn is the one from that record that I've listened to the most this year, I think. It's just, I don't know, it's another one of those really good choruses, as I've been saying through a lot of these songs. But I love the vibes on it. It's got like that kind of Baroque pop vibe, as most of this record does, but does it super nicely. And I think the lead vocal, the vocalist, has some very nice moments on there. But yeah, I just really like that track a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Can you get a load of this guy having a Vampire Weekend song that starts with C at his number 9?
Can't believe
Um, at my number 9, I've got Connect by Vampire Weekend. Kind of like you said, though. You know, there's so many tracks that probably could fit in here. But this one just it's. I actually do think I could say it's my favorite production of the year on this track. Like it's so weird and it's so quirky. It kind of reminds me of like a lot of the reasons I love the band Jockstrap, who didn't release anything this year, but like it reminds me a lot of their like just glitchy production and just really cool effects going all around the headphones. Like it just sounds great, and I think the structure of it's really great. I love like the upright bass that's being plucked all throughout it too. It's such a fun song, and I think it's really catchy and you know, just produced amazingly. I love that track.
Yeah, it's a really, really good one. Really good album too, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, me too.
At number 8, I have "Knock Yourself Out" XD by Porter
Nice.
Robinson. Um, this is an album that really grew on me, and also one that I'll talk about later. And honestly, those first 3 songs all have been in my rotation. It was really between this one and Cheerleader, like you were saying as well. But the chorus on this one has been stuck in my head constantly.
Yeah.
I love the production. I love just the lyrics on it are super fun and a little silly. But you know, this is an album that like really really grew on me, and this one I never really shuffled through. I just started from the beginning, and "Knock Yourself Out" is a really really good way to start it out.
Yeah, completely agree. I'm glad that you also chose that one. I think we're kind of unpopular opinions with that one. Well, maybe not unpopular, but you know, cheerleaders the popular pick.
Yeah.
Cool. After that, I have at number 8. I have Texas Blue by Quadeca. This is just really Quadeca going into like his Black Country New Road bag. And you know that combination is just kind of made for online losers like me. It's great. I love this track. I love the flutes on it. I love the strings. I love the drums on it. And you know, Kevin Abstract's on this track too. I probably should shout him out.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a really great pairing, and like it's just mixed and produced so beautifully, and it's such a stellar closer to this really, you know, mishmashy mixtape. And it somehow wraps everything up by just being this beautiful fade out. I love this track a lot.
Yeah, I like that one probably the most off of that record as well. Scrapyard was one that I didn't give a ton of listens to, but it's one, or I only gave it one listen. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But it's one that I'll have to return to because there were a couple tracks, especially that one, that I really liked on it.
Yeah.
At number 7, I have Lithonia by Childish Gambino. Um, though the album as a whole was very disappointing and forgettable and bloated, um,
Had to throw one more in there.
just one more
Yeah.
insult. Um, this one has been the only one that has stayed in my ears out of that entire album. I know you didn't like it as much, and that's completely understandable. But I don't know. This one was an earworm for me. I think Donald sounds really, really good on it. I love. I don't know. I love the vibe of it. I think that's it's just super fun. And I don't know. It's just been on a constant. It's been playing constantly for me the entire year, so I felt like I had to include it a little bit here.
Yeah, no, totally. Completely get it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, at number 7 for me, I've got "Sympathy Is a Knife" by Charlie XCX. There's a lot of songs that could have landed this high off that project, to be honest. And this one, for some reasons, just I mean, the production's fantastic on the whole album, but I love how it works on this one for some reason. How it kind of blends like that hyper pop sound with something that feels so earnest at the same time in the chorus. Like it just gets so spacey and so I love her vocals in that chorus as well, and just the themes of it, of being jealous of other people's success and stuff, and wondering why you feel that way. And it's very introspective, and I don't know, something about the energy of the track I just have always loved since I listened to the album, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good one. At number 6, I have "Like Him" by Tyler the Creator.
Nice.
It's like for you, this one could have been a couple different tracks off of Chromacopia, but this one was just like the perfect culmination, like you were saying, of the themes of the record, of being scared of fatherhood and then being confronted with the fact that his father was never in his life. So it was just like full circle. I love the introspective tracks from Tyler. I'll talk about the album more later, but yeah, this one was just like super introspective, super just interesting and emotional and heartfelt, and I really loved it.
Nice. Yes. Yes. Cool. Almost at top 5. Number 6, I have "Prologue" by Kamasi Washington. This is an album I probably only talked about 1 week on the pod this year. Kamasi Washington is a jazz saxophonist who's very known in the industry. "Keep a Horn on Me," that Kamasi,
Yes.
that guy. I think I listened to this album before that snippet was even released, because I remember being like, oh, I know him. I listened to his album like a month ago. But this is the closer to that album, and it's some of like the catchiest jazz music I've heard. I mean, I still have to like delve into like some of the big jazz albums. I have yet to do that, but it's like this fusion with like I guess kind of rock a little bit, and it has like just this really catchy melody to it that like I love so much, and every time I hear it, it just makes me smile. It's such a phenomenal closer to that record, and yeah, I really love it a lot.
Yeah. Can't say anything about that one, but
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
face pick.
Yeah.
At number 5, I have "Sympathy Is a Knife" by Charlie XCX.
Nice.
This was a bit of a surprise for me, but after getting back to Brat, with my year-end listens, this song just skyrocketed out of nowhere. Honestly, if it weren't for my re-listens, I don't know if anything off of Brat would have made it into my top songs, but I don't know. This one just like it did something to me. It did something to my brain. I absolutely love it, and also she did it on SNL, and I think that helped as well.
I didn't watch
Um,
that. I didn't see that performance.
yeah, it's a very good performance. But yeah, I don't know. Everything that you said resonates with me as well. It's just super, super good and super fun. Um, my favorite off of Brat.
Cool. All
Mhm.
right, number 5. We got the big man. We got "Reincarnated" by Kendrick Lamar. Is what I ended up choosing. Obviously, there's a lot here from Kendrick this year that could have been chosen, especially diss track era.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I still do think Meet the Grams is a better song. I don't know if it's my favorite song, though, you know what I mean? But like in terms of being an effective track, oh my God, that's probably the song that had the most effect on me throughout the year. Meet the Grams. What a wild time. But Reincarnated off GNX, I think it's definitely the most introspective cut off of GNX, and it's done so well. I love the 90s style beat on here. Kendrick's flow is incredible throughout, and the storytelling of these past musicians and everything, and I think it's just done extremely well, and it's so it's just pleasant to listen to, and especially that whole climax where he's talking to God and all that too. Like it's just Kendrick in his storytelling bag, and I don't know, it's fantastic. I love listening to it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites off of GNX as well, for good reason. But at number 4, I have "Not Like Us" by Kendrick Lamar. It's while Euphoria and Meet the Grams might have been more effective, more Euphoria might be like a better like song lyrically, maybe. But I don't know, Not Like Us was the mega hit, and it was a mega hit in my listens throughout the year too, because I was nonstop playing this song
Yeah.
because it's just so fun. I love being able to yell that Drake's a pedophile and he loves minors.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone would back me up because everyone was bumping the song at some point this year, and it's just super fun. I love the breakdown in the second half with the whole history lesson about Atlanta, and he's just comparing Drake to a colonizer and
Yeah.
everything. Fantastic shit. It's a diss track in the most Kendrick way possible, and I love it. Really, just really great.
Yeah, that one is just very shortly behind Reincarnated for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think there's a more quotable song this year than Not Like
No,
Us.
no.
Like, oh, I don't think there's a more quotable song this decade, to be honest.
Probably.
Not Like Us. It's an insane track. um, but yeah. All right. At number 4, I have Big Feelings by Willow. This is Willow Smith here in my top 4, and not only is she in my top 4, but like the song "Symptom of Life" off this same project, it would probably be equally as high as this if I were to do repeats. I like she went into her jazz bag on this album and like did it so well, and it like blew me away. And Big Feelings I think is like the pinnacle of that. Like it's just there's odd timing, there's catchy melodies, and then there's like, she just knows how to write in this style perfectly for her voice. Like it just fits so well, and I like just have a big grin on my face whenever I'm listening to either of these songs. But Big Feelings, I think just barely inches it out for me. It's such a great like fully realized track that I couldn't get enough of this year, and I listened to it quite a bit, and it's a very fun song, and I like it a lot.
Awesome. Well, top 3 here. At number 3, I have "The Greatest" by Billie Eilish. When "Hit Me Hard and Soft" first came out, and probably for a little while after that, I would have gone with "Wildflower." "The Greatest" has really, really grown on me since
Yeah.
since that came out. It's some of her best vocal work. I love the lyrics on it. It's got that like happier than ever vibe that you were saying. And it's just got like a really, really, really good explosion in there. And also the comeback of the like the strings that
Mm.
were in "Skinny," I believe, that come back in "The Greatest" with like the "I love you"
Yeah.
at the end. Just fantastic shit, and it's also been on constant rotation for me. Just really, really, really great stuff from Billy here.
Yeah. Completely agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Top 3 for me. Number 3, we got "Next Semester" by 21 Pilots. You know, it's no surprise that Colin and I are going to have 21 Pilots in our top list. Not to spoil your one of your top two. Um, it's no surprise that's going to happen. But it really is just great as a fan to have this band be going on for so long, and them still to be able to release a song that I would say is probably in their top five overall.
Yeah.
Like Next Semester is just, I don't know. It's just everything great about the band, but taken to like a little bit of a punkier level. And I think they do the energy super well. I love the storytelling on it and how it like recontextualizes a lot of Tyler's past lyrics in general. And I think, I don't know. It's just a song that was on repeat. I mean, it was my top song on Spotify Wrapped, and it was the second single too. But yeah, it just is a really fantastic track that was fun seeing live. It's always great to sing along to every single part of it, and that little ukulele outro to it is just like that cherry on top. That's just it's so good, and I think it's one of their best like paced and structured songs. Honestly, it's a great track. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Um, at number two, I have another one that you talked about a little earlier.
Mm.
In your list, I have Coelacanth by Glass Beach. Um, I This was the first new album that I listened to in 2024, and right off the bat, this opening track for Plastic Death just caught me, and I've been while I didn't give the album as a whole a lot of my attention this year, unfortunately, this song has been one that I've been playing on and on and on. I just think it's so
Yeah.
good. I love all of the different genre blending, like you were saying. I love just the singing on it. It captured me right away, and I think that's it's super special in that way.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I also think that's a fantastic track, and I'd also been playing it throughout the year. It's a really great one.
Yeah.
All right. Number two, I've got Holy Holy by Jordy Greep.
Wow.
This was also in my top songs of the year, and this is one of those songs that just gets better with every single listen. It's so detailed. For like, it's like a 6 minute track, but there's always something different going on in it that just keeps it fresh and engaging the whole time. And then the storytelling is just, there's a lot of masterful storytelling on the new sound, which I will get into. But this track in particular, just talking about how sad of a life it really is to have a you know the mindset of an Andrew Tate or so, just how pathetic it really is,
Mm.
and really belittling these types of people and this type of mindsets and everything. Like it's such a great track that has like a plot twist kind of in it as well, and then tells the whole thing from a new perspective towards the end. It's I don't know. It's like an adventure of a song, and it's just so catchy all throughout, and so fun and so jazzy, and I don't know. It's one of those tracks that just kept being on repeat for me, and I think really is the best song on that album.
Mm. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, for my number one, I have a little something unconventional
Oh.
because I truly could not pick between the two of these songs.
Oh.
If I had to, I'll say it afterwards. But at number one, I have both Next Semester by 21 Pilots and Death and Romance by Magdalena Bay.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, if I had to, I'd probably I think I'd put Next Semester at first and push everything below it down to put Death and Romance at two. But both of these songs have been a couple that have been on constant repeat. Of course, I've had 21 Pilots. Like Mike said, no surprise that anything by that band is gonna make it on a year-end list, especially when they release an album this year. But Next Semester, it's just some of the most introspective stuff that Tyler has ever done. It's the most soul-bearing kind of
Yeah.
with a genuine experience that he had with the thoughts of ending his own life back years and years ago. It's super personal. but it's done in such a cool styling of like this punky rock that they don't really do. It's just super fun. The music video is fantastic, and it's just fantastic in general. But Death and Romance, since you had it as Song of the Week, I just have not been able to stop listening to it. It's so good. It's another longer track, but it doesn't feel at all like the length of it is. It just goes by in a flash. And when a longer song like that is able to do that, it's special because you keep listening to it and listening and listening and listening, and it just doesn't get old either. It's just so good. The vocals on it are fantastic. I love the production. A lot of the stuff off of Imaginal Disc could have been here, but Death and Romance was the one that I listened to the most. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying there. And just to follow it up, my number one song is also Death and Romance, Magdalena Bay. But also similar to you, like really, I feel like about half the album could fit this number one spot, which is just kind of insane. But yeah, like you really said a lot of what I was thinking about it. Like since I've had it for my song of the week, it's been on repeat for me as well. I really loved Mercurial World when I listened to that a couple of years ago. And like this single came out and I was like, damn, they might be even topping that album. Like we keep up at this pace, and they did keep up at that pace. I think the drumming and the groove on this one in particular is just something that sticks in my head. Like it's just so fun to get lost in, put on a good pair of headphones and just listen to all the synths going on, all the groovy bass going on, and every little detail that's like, taking you in and out of the chorus and verses. It's just kind of one of those songs that's just straight up perfect. Like it's just, nothing about it should be changed. Like it's so great. And probably their best song in general, and on an already phenomenal album. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. Well,
all right,
we finished our songs.
we sure
and
did.
how many honorable mentions you got for albums here, Mike?
Well, I have 29 again, and I can go through them
Right.
a little quicker because we talked about some of them already, like in terms of like my feelings on the artist. But yeah. If you don't mind though, I might take just like a quick pause because I need to refill my water. I'm drinking a lot this episode. Okay. I'm also drinking a lot of booze on the side too. Okay, I will pause for just 1 second. Alrighty, I'm back. I have more water. I also might take slight breaks in between this rundown because after I did the honorable mention rundown of the songs, I like nearly died. I need more. I need more intermittent sips of water. All right. For me, I have the ratings of my albums down too.
Yeah,
because we did. Okay, cool. I know we've done that the last few years, but we never verbally said that this year. But okay, cool. All right. At number 29, album honorable mentions. I have Persona by Half Alive. I think it's a good step in the right direction for the band, but I do wish that I loved more songs on here than I do, and I have it at a light 7. At 28, I have Girl with No Face by Ali X. This is a synth pop record that I listened to earlier in the year, and some of the more online people enjoyed this one a little bit more than I did, but I do think there are some really fun songs on here that had stuck with me a little bit throughout the year, but not enough to make my list. But still a really good album that I think deserves a shout out. I have that at a late 7. Water. Okay. At 27, recent one I listened to, Glimmer of God by Gene Dawson. It's an album that's really all over the place, which in one breath is really impressive, and in another breath is kind of formless and makes it so I don't really know what I'm getting out of the album when it goes from synth pop to, kind of rock and like blast beats and stuff. It's all over the place, but I do love some tracks on here a lot, and I think it has some cool moments on it. So I have that at a light 7. Number 26, I have an album that my buddy Dane suggested to me earlier this year. She reaches out to she by Chelsea Wolfe. It's an album that is trip hop, which I haven't really listened to much trip hop yet. But it's really like atmospheric type pop rock, really dark and kind of brooding. And it has some really cool soundscapes on it, and some tracks that had stuck with me throughout the year. And I think the vocals on it are really great too. And I gave it a decent 7. 25, I have Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. I think this album got a lot of hate for some reason this year. Maybe it's because I didn't listen to Future Nostalgia yet. But I thought there were some really fun tracks on here. And then, that one song, Happy For You, that I loved quite a bit. But yeah, I know. Even when I was doing my re-listening, I was like, I enjoy this quite a bit. I don't know why people are so pissy about this. But I gave that a decent 7. Take a sip. Glug, glug, glug. Okay. All right. At 24, I have Plastic Death by Glass Beach. This is one that actually kind of shrunk on me a little bit, and I know you were saying that it grew on you. But for some reason, when I did my re-listen to it, it just wasn't really hitting me as hard. I didn't really love a lot of the vocal stuff going on. And I felt like maybe it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. But still a very enjoyable album with great tracks on it, like Colacanth, and even Slip Under the Door that you did for Song of the Week last week, I think. Yeah, it has some great stuff on it, but it did shrink on me slightly throughout the year. And I gave that a decent 7. At 23, I have King of the Mischievous South, Volume 2, by Denzel Curry. Denzel Curry can't miss, and this is just an album full of, bangers. It's just got a really grimy sound to it, a lot of really cool features on it. And it's just a, fun, infectious energy. But it's not really too much more than that, and I do like it when stuff goes a little bit beyond that. But it's still a really great project with some great songs on it. And I gave it a strong 7. At 22, I have Older by Lizzie McAlpine. It's a really beautiful stripped back, like folky Phoebe Bridgers type album. Very introspective writing about love and, longing for someone and all that kind of stuff. All that sappy shit that I can relate to. And I think there's some really great tunes on here that it's some of her best like songwriting, like melodically wise and stuff. And it's a really nice record that I return to quite a bit throughout the year. I give that a strong 7. At 21, I have Slump by Improvement Movement. This is that really small band in Atlanta that I mentioned earlier. Like kind of Beatles-esque vibes on here, a little bit of Backseat Lovers or so. Really beautiful vocal harmonies all throughout, and just kind of fun songwriting. I don't know, it just kind of feels like the joys of being a musician, like all wrapped up into an album. It just kind of made me smile whenever I put it on. Put me in a good mood, especially during the time of the election is when I found this. So kept me in a good mood during then. Yeah, I gave that a strong 7. I would recommend that one quite a bit. Water.
Water? Ugh. Later music.
Okay. Next we have... Oh, I lost my spot. Okay. Next we have All Born Screaming by Saint Vincent. The singles to this album were absolutely fantastic. Broken Man I talked about already, but there's another song on here called Flee that's really great too. And oh my god, I'm forgetting the third single's name right now. But the third single was also very, very good. And then the rest of the album was just kind of slightly forgettable, which was really disappointing, but it's still carried very heavily by those 3 songs. And for that reason, it's kind of here. So, yeah, I have that at a strong 7.
Nice.
All right. At 19, we have Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. I think I honestly do think it is her best record. I think it just barely inches out Happier Than Ever for me. But I still think there are some things on it that like tracks like The Diner I'm not like huge on, and I don't love the switch up on like L'amour de la vie or whatever. Um, and there's just like little things in here that I'm like, there's still room in here for Billy to release a really really great project. But I still do love a lot of the tracks on here, like The Greatest, Lunch, Skinny, A Wildflower. Um, it's
Pause for effect.
pause for effect. Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. Um, and yeah, I do love the production, and she improved so much vocally on this album too, and that shouldn't be ignored. And it's a great album. I do like it. I have a strong 7. All right. At 18, I have GNX by Kendrick Lamar. The last one to be added to this list came out as I was making the list, but figured soon enough that I can put it in there. But, Kenny's in his bangers bag, which makes sense after the victory he's had this year. And there's some really fun tracks on here, and some introspective cuts and some singing cuts with SZA that are very, very great. Yeah, it's just a great album. And it's a Kendrick Lamar album too, so that's why it's here. No, I'm kidding. But kind of not. Yeah, I have that at a light 8. Very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to being able to listen to it more now that I'm done with these lists. Sip of water.
Water. Pause for effect.
Yep. Almost there. At 18, I have. I'm sorry, I just did that. At 17, I have Submarine by the Marias. Shout out to John. He was the only reason I listened to this. I didn't really know about it before him.
Right.
And this is one that, when I was coming back to doing my re-listens on some albums this year, I was like, this one probably shrunk on me. I probably didn't like this as much as I did initially, and then I ended up liking it more the second time I listened to it. So, it's honestly really great. I love the production all throughout here. I really love her vocals on it as well. It's just really, I don't know. It's really atmospheric and moody type music, but like it just works really well. It has a great vibe to it. And I think it's a great album. I love it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 16, sorry to John again, I guess, but at 16 I got Charm by Clairo. I also think this is a great album. It kind of does all those vibey things that the Maria's album did, but like just a little bit better for me. And it delves more into like that 70s pop type sound, and it's very relaxing. It's probably the album I listen to the most outside of like my top albums. And it just because it's just such a great vibe on it. And I don't know, it's really nice to listen to, but it's also not really doing anything like super impressive to me, which is why it's not there. But it's still really great. I love it a lot. But yeah, I have that at a decent 8. I think it's a great album.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, little caveat here for my 15 through 13. There are a couple albums that I have rated a little bit better on my album of the year, but I did not get around to listening to those ones. I'll name them here. I had the new JPEG album. I only gave it one listen, and I liked it a good bit more than a couple than these 3, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't have it in me to go re-listen to it, so I didn't feel like I could talk about it all that much. There was also the Knocked Loose record that I listened to in the same week as JPEG, that I just also never really turned to. But and then I think let me check out I didn't write these down for some reasons. But album of the year. Sorry.
No, you're good. Doing a quick background check.
Yeah. And then Scrapyard, the new MGMT
Mm.
and the Marias. I don't know why I did not get around to listening to these. I didn't listen to them more than once throughout the year, so I didn't feel like I could um, speak on them as like in my top 15. But there were a couple below this that I did listen to more and that I felt like I could talk about a bit more, so I included those instead.
Cool.
So just a little caveat, but
All makes sense.
in case somebody's curious after the year and it's like, hey,
In
but
case they're comparing side to side.
yeah.
Liar.
But yeah, at number 15, I have "From Zero" by Linkin Park. And I said after the mostly disappointing artist analysis, I
Yeah.
knew that this band needed a good album really badly, and From Zero mostly delivered on that. Other than some spotty vocal performances and a couple meh songs, this album is a good return to form and a good way to introduce the world and the general audience to this new era of Linkin Park. It could have been a lot worse, to quote your album of the year review.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
uh, but boy, am I glad that it's mostly a good album. I think that there are a good amount of good tracks on here that harken back to the best era of Linkin Park. And while um, Emily Armstrong has some moments where it's like, I think that's those moments where she is really good are very, very good. Like there are a couple of really good screamy moments. She has some pretty good singing moments on here as well. There are just a couple moments where it's like, um,
Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, I give this one a decent 7 overall.
Cool. 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 All right. I for number 15, I have "Bright Future" by Adrian Lenker. Like I was saying before, a Big Thief singer, doing these nice acoustic and warm, well, kind of warm, but also kind of depressing, singer songwriter bits. And I think this album is just extremely beautiful. Like her voice is just stunning. And I really grew a new appreciation for her writing on this album as well. I need to check out more Big Thief in general, but
Mm.
her writing is just phenomenal on here and just so immersive and just I don't know. It's a relaxing listen for me, kind of like those sad, relaxing type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just one that I really enjoy listening to a lot whenever I got around to it, and it certainly fills a nice vibe, especially in these trying times, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I have that at a decent 8.
Yeah, that one is one that I tried to listen to. I think around the time that it came out earlier this year, but I never really returned to it. Though there is a song I think off of that record that had a trending sound on TikTok.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
that was like really pretty. It's still one that I might return to, but
I think it was Vampire Empire. Yeah.
yeah, there was yeah, whatever. It was the one where she's like talking about the possibility of having been a good mother, but not.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That's something else. But yeah,
But yeah, it was good. And well, I don't know if the album's good, but that snippet's good,
yeah,
and I might listen to that.
yeah.
But yeah, at number 14, I have "For Crying Out Loud" by Phineas. I said Phineas is very consistent. Phineas is very consistent, at least when he's on his own, at making extremely okay music. You know it's going to be well produced and the songs are going to have good meaning behind them, some good lyrical content, but unfortunately I don't think he works as well as a solo artist, and without the help of and the presence of Billy, uh, I don't think he's as good on his own. Don't get me wrong though. um, uh, what was I saying?
Sorry, I was coughing. I didn't. I don't quite remember.
No, you're good. So don't get me wrong. The title track is one of my favorite songs of the year, and I did mostly enjoy the project as a whole. Phineas sounds great. The production is, of course, good. There's just like a certain magic that's missing, is all.
Yeah.
It's not a bad album by any means, and I gave it a solid 7 as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's one I should check out just to be in the know on the O'Connells.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. At 14, I have Empathogen by Willow. Um, excuse me. Kind of a similar thing with the St. Vincent, where the singles really do carry this one quite a bit. But I still think there are like the full songs on here are really great. Once again, it's Willow going into like these jazzy sounds, doing oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it's art pop mixed with like jazz, really jazzy chords, odd time signatures, all that type of stuff. But she's doing really impressive things with her vocals as well, that she was doing on her metal albums too, but I think they fit even better in this style and just sound super seamless, and just have really great potential, and even max out that potential on a couple tracks on here. It is kind of littered with some like half song interludes, which is a little disappointing, but the full songs on here are very promising and very good, and very enjoyable to listen to from me. And I have it at a decent 8. And one extra shout out to Symptom of Life and Big Feelings, because those songs are so good.
Yeah. At number 13, I have Persona by Half Alive. Said, while I had higher marks for this record when it initially released, I still think it's a super solid album from the band and a good direction for them. I said, is the 80s pop in the modern day trope overdone and oversaturated? Sure. But for what it's worth, I think that they do it well, and it's an overall good vibe for them. However, I will say that the more acoustic driven tracks on this record are the highlights for me, other than Automatic, of course. But they do those acoustic tracks have a lot of heart that I really enjoy. A lot of good vocal performances from Josh, and the features that they've had.
Yeah.
On that. Those were all really well done as well. But I would love to see a return to the feel that the band had on their first go around. But this vibe is perfectly fine for now, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. And I give this one a solid 7 as well.
Cool. At number 13, I have No Title as of 13 February 2024, 28,340 Dead by Godspeed You Black Emperor. This is kind of a weird album to rank within, once again, like favorite albums, because it is such dark subject matter, but it is, all told through instrumentals, and is all told very effectively. It's just not necessarily something that like I'm going to listen to a lot, you know what I mean? But it is extremely powerful and extremely effective in what it does. And I think it definitely deserves being mentioned. It's a hard one to rank amongst enjoyable albums, if that makes, well, not that it's not, I don't know, you know what I mean.
It's not enjoyable in the same way that like Brat is.
Exactly. Yeah. But it still is, very musically impressive and very evocative of the emotions, and highlights the horrors going on in Palestine as we speak. And that death count, having that death count in the title is like, once again, in a weird way, genius is kind of a weird way to put it, but like, just like in terms of like seeing that's what it was in like February 13th of 2024, and I think it's more than doubled now at this point, and it's like, I don't know, it's just a very emotionally evocative album that does its part very, very well, and I have it at a decent 8.
Good pick there. At number 12, I have Harm by Claro. I said if I had given this album more time, I think that it definitely could have been in my top 10. The vibes are immaculate. The use of those like very 70s production techniques and overall just older stylings for this record. I give it such a unique feel that I really have enjoyed from the times that I've visited it. I think Claro sounds absolutely fantastic on top of those smooth, extremely pleasant on the ears instrumentals that really do evoke that 70s feel, like I was saying throughout the album. Like I said, it could have been higher, and and as I keep it in my rotation, it could definitely grow on me in the future. But for now, I just did not give it enough like full album listens. There were just like certain songs that I listened to throughout the year rather than the whole album. I really liked "Sexy to Someone" and "Juna," and and I think "Nomad" was one of them that I really liked. But yeah, I just didn't give it enough full album listens for it to make it up in that top 10. Still really good though, and I did really enjoy it, and I gave it a decent 8.
Nice, nice. Cool. At number 12, I have Smile, colon D by Porter Robinson. Um, kind of similar to what we were talking about with Knock Yourself Out. Like, it's an album that I think the reason why I love this album so much is because it just feels so Porter Robinson. Like, he just feels so true to himself on here, embracing the nerdiness and the geekiness a little bit, but telling just truly like emotional stuff with that type of subject matter. And I'm not sure how many people could have a song about overcoming suicidal feelings while also having lyrics like "funny monkey pissing into his own mouth." Like it's truly a unique talent he's got there.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, no, I think a lot of the songs on here are great. There are a couple duds on here for me. Not like maybe not like duds, but like songs that don't hit me as hard on here.
Mm-hmm.
And but I do think like the strong songs on it like really do stick out very well, and just overall it's super catchy and just a really fun project to listen to. And yeah, I have it at a decent 8.
Very nice. And at number 11, before we get into our top 10 here, I have "Where We've Been, Where We Go From Here" by Frico.
Mm.
Uh, I'm a big indie rock fan, and when I hear of good ones, I gotta check it out. I just wish I had given this album more attention throughout the year, because when I did revisit it for my listens, this one grew on me a little bit. They I lost myself. It's a debut, but it's done like super super good. It's got really fantastic production, great ideas and songwriting, and it stays fresh throughout, not feeling too samey or one note at all. Frico has a similar feel to like the Backseat Lovers in the fact that they do that like kind of sad, somber indie rock so well, as well as having those like more high energy, fun songs in the mix. I would love to hear more from this band in the future, and it's just a really good indie rock cut from this year that I wish I had given a little more attention to, but I still give it a solid 8.
Cool. Yeah, that came out pretty early this year. That's one that I forgot to return to listen to, because you had a song from it for Song of the Week, and I remember enjoying that quite a bit. I have some homework to do on that one, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. My last one before top 10, I've got "Fearless Movement" by Kamasi Washington. Like I was saying, it's this jazz fusion record. There's some rap on some songs. It gets a little funky on some songs. It's very spacey on some songs. It's also the longest record I have in this list. It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something. It's a bit of a beast, and I actually don't love everything on it, but there are so many songs on it that I do love, and that I do think are done so well. And I mean, he's an incredibly talented jazz player. Just player in general. I don't know why I said it like that, but incredibly talented player, and very versatile. And I think there's a lot of catchy moments on here, and there's a lot of, just really memorable tracks that kind of just some of them did stick with me throughout the year. And they're like long songs too, so having that stick throughout the year is pretty impressive. But Yeah, it's a really great record. If you're looking for some jazz fusion, got that at a decent 8 as well. Got a lot of decent 8s this year.
Yeah, not nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we go. Top 10 albums of 2024.
Woo.
Yeah, and at number 10, I have Brat by Charlie
Mm.
XCX. On first listen, I was genuinely unsure why this was getting as high of a praise as it was getting. Um, I didn't understand really at all why it got a Fantano 10. And after revisiting it and I saw my faults, but I still don't truly understand why it did get a 10, but that's okay. To each their own. Um, uh, you
To
know,
each Malone. So.
as a, but like as the Brat summer rolled on and more songs made their way into my rotation, I began to understand as well. You know, uh, what do I think I
There
underestimated
you go.
Charlie here. Um, I think this album is such a good mix of fun electronic dancey pop, with genuine, slow, heartfelt tracks that I think I really took for granted on first listen. Now I think this is a very good record with some fantastic cuts on it. Yeah, and I'm sorry for doubting you. Oh, that's a bad joke. I'm sorry for doubting you, Charles XCX Xavier.
Okay.
Uh, and I gave it a solid 8.
There you go. All right, cool. At number 10, I have Conwell's Well EP by Maruha. I already kind of talked about this one, honestly, when I talked about the track. The,
Yes.
but I think this album, it kind of furthers their sound that they were doing on the EP from last year. It does a little bit of the same from the EP from last year, but I do really love that like dark sound, but also with like that hints of beauty in there with their saxophonist, and just the soundscapes that they create with that. I think their lead singer is very incredibly talented too, and like gets to show off a little bit more of his vocals on this one, really belting out some high stuff and just high energy things. It gets a little more abrasive than the last EP, but not in a bad way. I think it's got a great energy to it, and I still can't wait for whatever comes of an album. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And these little bite-sized EPs from them have been fantastic. And yeah, I have it as strong 8s.
Yeah, I love to hear it. At number 9, I have "Hit Me Hard and Soft" by Billie Eilish. With as big of a fan as I am of Billie, there was no doubt that this record was gonna make it on my list. However, if you had asked me, for most of the year, it would have been a good bit higher. While I do believe this is Billie's best work, production and songwriting wise, as well as vocally, um, there are just too many tracks on here that I don't feel like are the best she could have done, such as The Diner. And I like Bittersweet, but it's another one of the tracks that
Yeah.
didn't super stand out. There were a couple that did grow on me, though. I did grow to really like the switch up in L'amour de ma vie. And I also, I also, but yeah, I just, Jesus, I'm losing it.
It is 1:30 a.m. I don't think we
It is.
discussed the exact time.
It is the latest podcast we've done.
I think so.
Uh,
Yeah.
but all right, compose myself.
It was Colin's idea, for the record.
It was. Uh, I've listened to this record a lot. I really enjoy it. I just want more songs akin to like "Happier Than Ever" and "The Greatest," and less like "Birds of a Feather" from Billie. While I do, she's a pop girly, and she's made her bag through the big pop hits. I think that her best work is done when she takes like a different approach, and she really shows off her vocals and her some really cool production. And while I understand why Birds of a Feather is so big this year, that one just even on first listen, I was like, this is a radio song and it's good, but I think that other songs deserve a little bit more praise than that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a good record overall. I still really enjoy it, and I gave it a solid 8.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like we feel somewhat similarly about that one. Cool.
Yeah.
Still a great album, like I want to
Yeah.
say. But all right, at number 9, I have Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party. This is an album that came out earlier this year. Well, all of these albums came out earlier this year, but early in the year is what I meant to say. By like this all-girl rock group from the UK. And I don't even remember what initially had me listen to this, but like it's got such like 80s, 90s rock vibes to it. Like maybe when was ABBA? Was ABBA 80s or 70s?
Probably both.
Okay. They kind of have a little bit of an ABBA vibe to them, but like a little bit more like alternative rock. And there's a lot of really great tracks on here. I love their lead vocalist. And the songwriting in general is super catchy. It's an album that's probably in some of my most played of the year. I did really enjoy spinning this throughout the year, and never really got sick of it. And I don't know, I just love the energy of it, and I'm interested to see what they do from here. But yeah, really great album. I have that at a strong 8.
Nice. Yeah, that's one that I should probably check out. As you said, I would enjoy it. So.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. At number 8 for me, I have no title as of 13th February 2024. 28,340 Dead by Godspeed You Black Emperor. And I wrote, I'm not usually one for solely instrumental projects. I find it hard to connect, and so I'm surprised to find one in my top 10. However, Godspeed really managed to capture me and relay a message through instrumentals that made me really feel. To make an album about the ongoing genocide in Palestine at the hands of Israel, and to convey the message of true sorrow and horror and fear without saying a single word, is just pure talent. And it genuinely gave me a pit in my stomach multiple times throughout listening. It's beautiful and tragic, and free Palestine. And I give it a strong 8.
Yeah, very well said. All right. At number 8, I have Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. Like I was saying when we were talking about Like Him, there's so many great songs on this album, and I think there's so many standouts, and it pretty easily made his top 3 for me. I really think, I remember seeing a comment somewhere saying that it seems like every time Tyler releases an album, everyone's just saying Tyler's maturing on this one, which is kind of true a little bit. But like, I really do love all the themes on here. Of it kind of like back when it came out, I was saying it kind of reminds me a little bit of Mr. Morale, and just like really those thoughts of becoming a father and becoming old and all those types of things, and just him like dealing with that and tackling with it on probably, I feel like, his most introspective album, I think I can say. And the storytelling is just so great on tracks like Hey Jane, and the bangers are so great on Thought I Was Dead. There's so many phenomenal like highlights on here. And it's always a pleasure to get a Tyler the Creator album, but I'm glad that he released this one, because it's so great, and took a little extra time for it, a 3-year gap in his iconic 2-year gaps. Yeah, I think it turned out amazing. I have it at a strong 8.
Nice. At number 7, I have Smile, Colin D by Porter Robinson. This is also a newer area of music for me, at least to find enjoyable. But Porter's energy is absolutely fantastic. This record is so fun and full of energy, with some slower, heartfelt singer-songwriter moments that are super sweet as well. The first three tracks have been in my rotation since I first listened to this record. I think that they're really fucking good. But the album as a whole is super solid, with only like two tracks, or like one or two tracks that didn't super stick with me or stick the landing. I think "Smile" is a really fun and a really fantastic fun time with a great message and vibes, and I gave it a strong 8.
Nice. Cool. The next one I have at number 7. Number 7 is what you just did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure I didn't skip one or you didn't. Okay, I don't know. All right, number 7. Number 7 is "Wall of Eyes" by The Smile. The first The Smile album to come out this year, and then the first of 3 Tom York projects to drop this year. Anyways, it's I really love this album. It takes their sound that's like very rooted in like math rock and like jazzy type stuff, and makes it a lot more atmospheric on here. Like the production is just phenomenal, and it's so spacey and so ambient, and I get lost in a lot of these tracks. And I was seeing a lot of people saying that this one shrunk on them throughout the year, but honestly, it always stuck high up there for me. I find every time I've listened to it, I'm like, damn, this is a really great album, and one of the best albums I think Tom York has released since A Moonshaped Pool. And it's I don't know, I really love this record, and I love how it's so patient, and with its so patient with the songwriting and so patient with the pacing, I guess. Patient with the pacing. It's a beautiful album, and yeah, I enjoyed listening to it. And I have it at a strong 8 as well.
Very nice. At number 6, I have "Only God Was Above Us" by Vampire Weekend. Yet another record that I didn't give nearly enough love to throughout 2024. While I really enjoyed this album on first listen, and there have been songs that I've consistently been listening to, the project as a whole is so unique and entertaining and deserved a lot more love from me. The super cool blending of styles and genres like psychedelia, indie rock, and baroque pop, just to name a few, is so interesting and pleasant on the ears, due to some amazing production and songwriting throughout the duration. Some tracks don't hit as hard as others, but as a whole, this album is really damn good, and deserves the praise that it was getting throughout the year. But
Yeah.
I give it a light 9 overall.
All right, nice. Alrighty, at number 6, I've got "Clancy" by 21 Pilots. I mean, once again, you knew it was coming on this podcast. But I really do think, like the things I was saying about "Next Semester" with, it's so great that this band can still capture songs that are in the best of their catalog. Like I really do think this album stands above a lot of their work. And I think I would have to think about it a little bit, but I think it's probably my number 2 album from them, right behind Trench. I think just the songwriting is so consistent all throughout. It's got some of the catchiest hooks that Tyler's ever written, and some of the best like drum patterns that Josh has ever put down. It's so fun. It's so groovy. Even tracks like "Lavish," I get a big kick out of. Make me smile quite a bit. And I think it's just a really, really well put together project from them, and I'm biased. But yeah, it's a great album, and I would give it a strong 8.
Very nice. At my number 5 spot, I have "GNX" by Kendrick Lamar. In a year full of holy shit Kendrick dropped moments, this was the biggest surprise. But unsurprisingly, Mr. Duckworth has dropped another absolute heater. This record is extremely West Coast in its stylings and feature work, of which I'm unfamiliar with a vast majority of the artists, which I think is very cool, to just highlight some West Coast artists that you might not have heard of. And I think for the most part that those features are very well done, with just a couple that I was like,
Yeah.
And I said, while GNX is more concise and full of energy, it does have those introspective, thought-provoking tracks that Kenny is so good at, which I truly appreciate, such as Reincarnate. Just really, really good stuff. Though not everything is an absolute hit for me here, I've been surprised with how much things grow on me on every listen. Um, Kendrick Lamar is the GOAT, no cap.
Oh yeah.
And I gave this one a light 9 as well.
All right. All right, and for my top five, at number five, I have Brat by Charlie XCX. This is an album. While I still don't quite understand having it at a 10, I still do absolutely love like the first chunk of this album and even beyond. Like there's some great tracks in the second half too, but I think it falters just slightly in the second half for me. But there's so many fun bangers on here with amazing production all throughout. It's just an extremely fun album, whether it be from 360 or 365 or Sympathy is a Knife or Von Dutch. I think the bangers on here bang really, really hard. And then, like you were saying before, I really love the mix of the introspective cuts in there as well. It just makes for such an engaging listen and makes me want to check out more of her stuff in general. But it just, I don't know. I love the energy of it. And there's a reason an entire summer was named after it. It's just got that vibe to it. It's kind of that album a little bit. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it every single time I put it on. So yeah, I have it at a light 9.
Perfect. Love that. At my number 4, I have Plastic Death by Glass Beach. I listened to this album a lot in the beginning of the year and really enjoyed it, but it's another that I didn't give nearly enough appreciation to during the course of this year. After returning to this album, I gained a new respect for this, for just how much was put into this project. From the art to the indie, this record rocks during the entire over an hour runtime, which I don't think it overstates at all. I love how loud and bombastic a lot of these songs are, but I also love how soft and soothing it can be as well. There's a certain ambiance to this album that I could see not working for other artists, but the care that was put into the production across this thing makes that ambient nature just really damn good in my opinion. Not every song stands out, but this project is full of bangers, and it's really, really damn good in my opinion.
Yeah,
I give it a light 9.
that's sick. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. At number 4, I have Scrapyard by Quadeca. Another early release of this year, but it technically a mixtape, and you can feel that it's a very all over the place type record. But I think it really just in some ways, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is it's very much an immersive type album. It's not as easy to throw on in the background. Meanwhile, Scrapyard is him adapting his sound into something that's almost a little bit more accessible in that kind of nature. And I think it works really well. I think there's some really strong hooks on here, some strong features from BrokeN and Kevin Abstract, and just a lot of creative ideas just flowing throughout the entire thing that just makes it pleasant to listen to. Like I enjoyed just putting this on in the background, and that's not an insult to the project at all. It's very interesting music to have in the background and just still vibe along to and have a good time with. And yeah, I think it has really, really strong tracks on it too. And I'm interested to see what happens next year with him, because I think pretty much confirmed that he'll have an album next year. He was teasing most of this year, but it sounds like at this point it'll be next year. Yeah, no, I really had enjoyed this throughout the entire year. And I think it's a really great project, and I have it at a light 9.
Awesome. Well, top 3, here we go. At my number 3, I have Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. And I said, well, after I had lost hope of Tyler dropping this year, in came Chromacopia, and I'm so glad that it did. Something I've truly come to enjoy in music is introspection and a glance into like the personal lives of the artists that we truly only know caricatures of. And over the past couple records, Tyler has become super consistent in giving us insights into his real life. Chromacopia does a fantastic job of having those moments while making them as entertaining as the higher energy banger tracks that Tyler does just as well, which I really love and I appreciate. Going from tracks where he's struggling with the perspective from the struggling with the prospect of becoming a father, to getting sticky with Sexy Red, then struggling with the absence of his own father is a wild ride, but it's one that Tyler is fully capable of making work. Um, I do feel a couple tracks have shrunk on me, like Judge Judy. I did like, and I still do enjoy, but it does have that kind of corny nature that that we're talking about when we talked about the album. Um, uh, I don't think and I also don't think he's captured that magic of Igor yet again. But I love that Tyler is always trying cool things, and I'll always be down for more from him. And I gave it a decent 9 overall.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. At my number 3 spots, I have Only God Was Above Us by Vampire
Mm.
Weekend. This is a project, I think it was you and Dane really encouraged me to listen to. And you know, the things I was saying about Connect with it, just having such a unique production style to it. I mean, that was the song that you introduced me to it from. And then just listening to it throughout the year, like it's just, I love how inspired by classical music it feels, like just the entire record, like from the melodies to the instrumental lines, but it feels inspired by classical music, but is also mixing it with like just some of the weirdest and like most unique production of the year, and like glitchy, like I don't know, glitch pop ways. It's super cool and like one of my favorite just genre mashes of the year, and I think it has some of the catchiest melodies on like almost every single song. Like and like you were talking about before with Hope, the like 7 minute closer, like
Yeah.
it's an incredible track. And it just, I don't know, the whole thing just was super impressive to me, and like I enjoyed every little bit of this album. Honestly, it's so nice to listen to. And yeah, I have it at a light 9. Very much enjoying that one.
Nice. Glad you enjoyed that as much as you did.
Yeah, me too.
Well, at number 2, I have Clancy by 21 Pilots. I mean, what we were expecting. Of course, they're
Yeah.
up here, but not without good reason.
Mm-hmm.
With this being uh, marketed as like the grand finale of the Dima storyline, it was extremely exciting. It was an extremely exciting rollout. Well, I mean, even more than I was already excited for anyway.
Yeah.
However, there's very little to do with the story within the record, which I think is perfectly fine because this record absolutely rips. The return of Paul Meany to help with production was a stellar choice that only elevated this project even farther. Um, this is the most like upfront Tyler's been with his mental health struggles to date. Getting back to that introspection that I love oh so much in music. There's only really one moment on this record, Snapback, that hasn't fully grown on me, but I do appreciate it even so. Um, all in all, I think Clancy is their second best record after Trench. And it has obviously been on constant rotation since it released, and it will be for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I love this band. I love this record. I'm very biased, but I just I love it, and I will not apologize for it. And I gave it, and I gave this one a solid 9.
All right. Awesome. All right. My number 2 spot, I have The New Sound by Jordy Greep.
Mm,
Lead singer of Black Midi. Black Midi
sure.
imploded. Yeah, rest in peace. They imploded this year. Um, and shortly afterwards, Jordy Greep, announced this album and released it. And it's such a great step past Black MIDI, not in terms of like leaving that in the dust, or like it's a completely different sound, even though it's called the new sound. But it's really him exploring new genres with like influence of Brazilian jazz in there, and really improving his vocal work on a lot of songs too. Like I love Jordy Griep as a writer and like a persona. I never really saw him as like a fantastic singer until this album. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And he just has such a unique stage presence with his lyrics being so vulgar and so in your face. But also the storytelling in general on here is just super unique. You know, telling these stories of characters, kind of like like I was saying before, like the Andrew Tate type mindsets in there, and showing how stupid that is and how pathetic that is, and but also revealing just how deep down, like how sad it is too, and like I think there's true beauty on this project that is tapped into. That's just it's super unique, and I think it's an extremely impressive release from him, and stands right up there with every single 9 that I've given a Black MIDI album. So it's it's an incredible piece of work that I have enjoyed listening to a lot, and overall I gave that a decent 9.
Awesome. And here we go. My number one record of 2024 is Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay.
What?
Yep. From first listen, I was very surprised by just how much I absolutely love this album. This is by far some of like the best production, hands down, from the entire year, and possibly just some of my favorite in general across all of my music listening. Um, Not to mention the absolutely stellar work on vocals from Mika,
Mm-hmm.
or Micah, however you say it, and amazing work on instrumentals from Matt. Um, this psychedelic synth pop is just so smooth and vibey throughout, with some extremely creative and explosive moments that loses absolutely no steam during its runtime. Even even the interludes are endlessly entertaining. Uh, Wow. Oh yeah. While Mercurial World didn't super capture me a couple years ago, I feel like I really need to return to it after how much I love this record, because I don't know. I think I've just gained a new respect for Magdalena Bay in general,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just this is so good. The songwriting across this entire album, and really, it's just, I don't know, man. That production is just, it's sickening how good it is throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Um, I really, really love it. Um, and I was a little lost for words when I was writing this, but it's really an album that I feel like you have to listen um, to really respect, because like you
Completely
can listen
agree.
to a couple songs. Um, like we've had a couple songs for Song of the Week that you can check out, but I think as a whole, this record is just fantastic, and it's so well done, and it's just some of the best stuff this decade so far. Um, I really, really love it. I think it's really well done. Uh, the Like, there's just really wonderful climactic moments,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful soft and soothing moments that just really create an almost perfect album, in my opinion. And I gave it a solid 9.
All right. Cool. Yeah, and I mean, as expected, at number 1, I've got Vultures 2 by no, I have Imaginal Disc as well by Magdalena Bay. I mean, you pretty much summed it up again. Like it's just it leaves me at a loss for words too, and I'm glad you feel that way as well.
Mhm.
And I completely agree with what you're saying. With it's best to just be listened to, because it does so much genre blending throughout here. Like at the core of it, it's all like synth pop, I guess, poppy synth pop, but like it's mixing it with like progressive rock at points. It's mixing it with like noise pop or hyper pop ish kind of with like That's My Floor. It's
Mhm.
mixing it with ABBA. There's a reactor out there. When he was listening to "Cry for Me" for the first time, someone said it's like it sounds like evil ABBA, which it does sound like, and then someone spelled it out as BAAB Bab. I think about that a lot. But yeah, no, like it goes all over the place, yet somehow it feels like a cohesive project. Like every song transitions into each other beautifully.
Mm,
And it I think one of the things that ties it together even better than their last work is the fact that they have a live drummer with them throughout
mm,
the whole thing. I think he was on like a couple tracks on Mercurial World, but like he's on like pretty much everything here, and he adds so much. Like the grooves between the drums and the bass throughout the entire thing is just insanely good. And just the synergy all throughout the whole thing is fantastic. And the last thing I want to touch on is that it does tell this beautiful story of self improvement as well,
mm,
throughout the entire thing. Like it is kind of like a light concept record in that way, and just telling this journey of self improvement, like I was saying. And like I remember when I was first reading through that, a couple weeks I think after the album came out, I was like tearing up, like, oh my god, this writing is so good, and like her vocals fit it so well. And I think it's just a phenomenal package of an album from a group that I already thought was really great, and then just completely blowing me away even past those high expectations. And yeah, I love it a lot, and I have it at a decent 9 as well. It's like a decent to strong 9. It's pretty close up there, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's fantastic.
yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, well, those were our lists of albums and songs of 2024. Um,
Hmm.
Hope you enjoyed. Hope you maybe have something new to listen to if something we talked about
Yeah,
intrigued you. I need to listen to the Freako album. That's what intrigued me.
yeah,
So,
that was good.
um, yeah. But yeah, cool. Well, it is getting kind of late, so we should probably start wrapping up a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, what do you want to do for your song of the week, Colin? You're up first.
First this week. Well,
Yeah.
um, since we haven't had it as song since I haven't had it as song of the week, and kind of surprised by that. I did have it in my top 10. I am gonna go with Lithonia by Childish Gambino.
Oh, okay.
Nobody gives a fuck, my sweet Lithonia.
All right, that was Lithonia by Childish Gambino. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, yeah, I still think that's a good song. I love the last like minute of the track. I think that bridge section all the way to the ending is just phenomenally produced and sounds great.
Mm,
And I absolutely see why a lot of people love it so much. And I think it definitely is a standout track on an album that was pretty forgettable for especially for a big name artist's apparently last album this year.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think it's a good song. I do enjoy that one.
yeah, it is. It's very disappointing that the album as a whole was so forgettable and bloated, um,
Hmm.
and just just a disappointment in general. It's just because like when this song came out, I was like, I was super excited. It's one that I've been listening to consistently. I love the rock influence throughout most of the song. I like how it kind of slows down, and Donald Glover, he does great on the vocals in the second half. It's just super fun and like bombastic throughout, and it ends in like a cool way that like could have lended to like a cool transition or something, but it just never did.
Yeah,
Um, and just I can't name a single other song on that album, and it's kind of sad, but
yeah,
you know, yeah, I don't know. I really like that track, and yeah.
totally cool. Alrighty, for me, I'm gonna go with a song that ranked pretty high on both of our lists and is
Mhm.
not in the playlist. So, I'm going to go with "Like Him" by Tyler the Creator. All right, that was "Like Him" by Tyler the Creator. What'd you think of that, Colin?
Yeah, it was pretty far up our both of our lists for a good reason. It's one of those really good introspective tracks from Tyler off Chromacopia. I love how it really, you know, brings the theme of most of the record full circle, like I was saying, with and not having his own father in his life, and also struggling with the prospects of becoming a father.
Yeah.
It's just really well done. I love the feature from Lola Young at the end as well. That singing is absolutely fantastic and soulful, as well as the feature from Baby Keem. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, super soulful. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that track.
Yeah, I mean, we both talked at length about it at this point. It's just a phenomenal track that absolutely deserves to be highlighted from this year. That's not in the playlist, so there it is. I had a choice between that and the 8 minutes Kamasi Washington song, so I decided to spare you a bit.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, no, great track. Shout out to all those artists. Shout out to all those songs, and shout out to the artists who made those songs.
Yes,
It's another successful rap, and it is 2 a.m. So I
sure
think
is.
I think I should start doing some rapping of my own. But I'm gonna cough first. All right. We got some visual humor this episode with those mutes. All right. Well, if you're listening on streaming services, thank you very much. We enjoy that, and we love you. If you're enjoying the episode, and you want to see those visual mutes like I was talking about, you can come on over to YouTube, where we're under the same name, BrokeN Bois, capital N BOIS, and you can see our beautiful profile pictures, me with Schlattman, and you got Colin with his really epic Shadow the Hedgehog profile picture over there.
Hell yeah.
Looking straight out of like 2006. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But you can come see those. In the description you can find links to the Song of the Week playlists, that segment that we just did, where you can find Like Him by Tyler the Creator, or you can find it is late and my brain is fried. What did you choose? Lithonia by Childish Gambino. You can find both of those in those playlists. We got one for me down there, we got one for Colin down there, and we got one for both of us combined down there. And you can find those songs there. Go listen to a whole bunch of stuff that we listened to this year. For me, we got some personal things as well. I make music under the name Plaintive. There will be music in 2025 is all I will say. At this point, I think I can safely say that. So get your lists ready for Plaintive Takeover. You can check out your Plaintive lore with Coping Mechanism, which is already up on Spotify, Apple Music down there, and anywhere else you can stream music. But I also got my YouTube page down there. I got my Instagram. I got my TikTok. I got my Album of the Year page where I rate review music. You can now go spoil my list and go. I have some more in-depth, more thought-out thoughts there where I'm not coughing my lungs out in between. Feel free to read that. Oh my gosh. I'm on Santa's nice list right behind you, dear viewer. Because lists and Christmas, that's the thought process. Colin here, he runs our socials. He runs our Twitter page, as well as the Twitter page where he updates when updates need to be happened, as well as posts when videos are posted. And he runs our TikTok where he posts funny clips of us being humorous and having a good time with the bud. And he also has some personal stuff as well. Down there, he has his Album of the Year page where you can check out some of his reviews for these albums he talked about here. And he also has a Letterboxd where he rates and reviews movies. I don't remember. Did you say any new movies? Or did you get a chance to rate Sonic?
Yeah, you can go check out my rating and review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Let's go. That's advertisement right there.
Oh, yeah.
And he also has an Instagram review page where You can find all his year-end lists. And Colin, what's your relation to the Dear Viewer?
Well, since you're also getting on whatever list you're getting on.
Oh, don't put it like that.
This episode is coming out the week of Christmas. Merry Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, or Happy normal week in December, if you don't celebrate anything. I'm gonna be sleeping tight in front of the viewer, waiting for Santa to come down my chimney and leave me some gifts.
Yeah,
because I am on the nice list. So
yeah, that's what I said I was on too.
yeah,
Oh,
I know.
okay.
Not sure if I believe you.
Okay.
But as I hear the jingle jangle of Santa's happy belly coming down my chimney, I'm going to wake up in Mike and I's conjoined room, and as he comes down the chimney, Santa, that is, he will he'll make it down. I'll be stirred awake a little bit, and I'll look up, and it'll be Santa there, right in front of me, and I'll go, "Oh my God, Santa!" And he'll go, "Oh my God, Colin from BrokeN Boys," and then you're like, "Not just me though. Look behind you." And he'll look behind you, and he'll see Mike from BrokeN Boys, and be just as excited.
Wow.
And he'll go, one of you was on the naughty list, but I think just because it's the Christmas season, and the Christmas season is about giving, that I'm going to erase that whichever of our names was on the naughty list and put them both on the nice list, and leave us some nice gifts, because of course we left us some cookies as well. But
bribery,
because of this generosity, we're going to give Santa a big ol' embrace, with Mike from behind, me from up front. It might be a bit of a hard one to get our arms around, because Santa's a big jolly man, but it's okay because he's big and jolly, and he smells like cookies and reindeer shit. But and just because we're both so excited to be on the nice list, I'm gonna look at you over Santa's shoulder. I'm gonna move the poof of his Santa hat off of his whichever shoulder we're looking over to the other, and I'm gonna give you a big old jolly smooch on the mouth, Mike, as we embrace Santa from in front and behind. And this embrace is called the Love Cage. And if you'd like your own love cage, dear viewer, all you must do is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and give you your very own love cage. So drop that addy.
Absolutely. Santa did. He dropped North Pole down there, and
he sure did.
Got his own love cage. I'm also glad he decided to turn a blind eye to my domestic terrorism charges from this year. So
yeah, that
put me on a nice list though. After all,
he didn't really care about it. You fell under the same umbrella like Luigi did, where it's like it was listed as terrorism, but everyone backed you.
Exactly. So socially supported terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot that happened. But okay, dear viewer, we'll see you next week for a holly jolly episode on the discography artist analysis of Daft Punk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Bye bye.
Love you.